Have you ever dreamed of moving to a quiet little town, escaping the big city, and embracing the simple life? Well, Dripping Springs, Texas might seem like the perfect place. But before you pack your bags, let me tell you why you might regret it. Big time. Dripping Springs, a small town just 30 minutes west of Austin, is known for its rolling hills, wineries, and classic Texas charm. But those days, they might be over. The town has exploded in popularity. With that growth has come some serious problems. I've lived in this area my whole life, and I've seen firsthand how much Dripping Springs has changed. Back in 2001, when I had my first job here, there was no HEB, just a quiet country town with a small downtown strip, a Dairy Queen, and a single stoplight. It was the kind of place where everyone knew each other, took the time to greet one another, and life moved at a slower pace. But over the years, I've watched Dripping Springs transform from a hidden treasure into one of the fastest growing areas outside of Austin. And with that growth has come new businesses, master plan communities, and a whole new set of challenges. If you're thinking about moving here, you need to hear this first. Stick around because by the end of this video, you might rethink everything. Let's start with the obvious. Dripping Springs is expensive. According to the latest MLS data, the median home sale price in Dripping Springs is $625,000, which is actually down 3.6% from the previous year. However, the average price per square foot sits at $265, showing a significant increase over the past 5 years. If you're looking for a home in the $600,000 to $700,000 range, you're competing in one of the most active price brackets. Property taxes remain a major burden, averaging around 2.2%, which means you could be paying upwards of $13,750 per year in taxes alone on a medium price home. If you're renting, things aren't much better. Rental prices continue to hover around $2,700 a month, making affordability a growing issue for many residents. For longtime locals, these price increases have been devastating, pushing out teachers, first responders, and service industry workers who can no longer afford to live in the area. If you're considering moving here, just know buying a home in Dripping Springs is no easy feat, and affording one long-term might be even harder. And if that wasn't enough, let's talk about traffic. Dripping Springs was once a one-stoplight town. Now it's a boom town. New developments are popping up everywhere, and with that comes congestion. Traffic on Highway 290 can be brutal, especially during rush hour. The infrastructure hasn't had time to keep up with the growth, and commuting to Austin, let's just say you need patience, and a lot of it. And to make matters worse, Highway 290 is currently under construction from Austin heading into Dripping Springs, and talks have begun about continuing the expansion all the way to the main intersection at Highway 290 and Ranch Road 12. What used to be the only stoplight in town has become a significant bottleneck, desperately needing an overpass to keep up with the growing traffic demands. And speaking of growth, let's talk about water. Texas is known for its droughts, but in Dripping Springs, water scarcity is a real issue. Wells are running dry, water restrictions are common, and the rapid development is putting even more strain on the already limited resources. If you rely on well water, be prepared. You might need to truck in water at some point, and trust me, that can be expensive. But it's not just the water that might surprise you, it's also the wildlife. Love nature? Great. But are you ready to wake up to a scorpion in your living room, fire ant mounds while you're gardening, and snakes crawling up on your porch next to your Amazon boxes? Surprise! Yes, those are real things that we experience here. And in my neighborhood, we actually have a local snake guy who will rush over and remove them for you. Someone call Kenny. If you're moving from the city, be prepared for some unexpected visitors. But wildlife isn't the only thing changing. Let's talk about the town itself. One of the biggest draws of Dripping Springs was its small town charm, but with the explosion of new residents, that's changing. Longtime locals are frustrated, and the tight-knit community feel is shifting. Massive retail and mixed-use developments are on the horizon. Projects like Oakwood and The Lookout set to bring more businesses, traffic, and higher prices. While these developments promise convenience, they also contribute to the rapid urbanization of what was a once quiet rural escape. Additionally, the population has nearly doubled in the past decade, with developers betting big on future growth. The town's infrastructure is struggling to keep up, and with more chain stores and commercial buildings replacing mom and pop shops, the unique character of Dripping Springs is at risk of fading away. The school system, a major draw for families, is also feeling the strain. Overcrowding and staff shortages, especially among bus drivers, have become pressing concerns. What used to be small town school district now faces the growing pains of rapid expansion. And while the town still has great schools and stunning landscapes, some worry it's losing what made it special in the first place. And if you plan on driving at night, you might notice something else. Dripping Springs is known as a dark sky community, which means there are strict regulations on outdoor lighting to reduce light pollution. While this is great for stargazing, it can make driving at night a little nerve-wracking. And with minimal streetlights, rural roads can feel eerie and even dangerous if you're not used to them in the darkness. If you're a night owl or need to drive frequently in the evening, this is something to consider. And if that wasn't enough, let's talk allergies. Cedar fever is brutal. If you suffer from seasonal allergies, Dripping Springs might be your worst nightmare. Cedar pollen here is intense, especially in the winter months when cedar fever hits hard. Symptoms like itchy eyes, congestion, sneezing, and headaches are common, and for some, they can be downright miserable. If you have bad allergies, make sure you're prepared with allergy meds or be ready for months of discomfort. Now let's talk about shopping. If you're used to big city shopping, Dripping Springs might be a bit of an adjustment. While there's a growing number of businesses in town, you won't find the large chain stores and massive shopping centers. Instead, shopping here means supporting local boutiques, family-owned businesses, and small specialty stores. While that can be a great way to discover unique products and personalized service, it also means you'll have to drive to Austin for larger retailers. Dining follows a similar trend. There are some fantastic local restaurants, coffee shops, and breweries, but if you're looking for chain restaurants or fast food beyond the basics, your choices will be limited. If you love shopping locally and supporting small businesses, you might enjoy this. But if you need big city conveniences, it could be a downside. So, is it still worth it? Now, I know this video sounds like a warning sign, and in many ways it is. Dripping Springs isn't for everyone. The cost, the growth, the wildlife, it's a lot to handle, but for some, it's still worth it. The natural beauty, the strong schools, and the sense of community, if you can handle the challenges, you might just love it here. And if you want to see what living in Dripping Springs really looks like, check out this video next.